following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. You have found us online. Maybe you found us on your favorite podcast app. Maybe you found us on YouTube. But hey, you found us. Here we are, Adventures from the Shed. We're going to be getting back to our Dungeon World game. It's Smoky Top, and we'll be getting back to that shortly after we go around and say hi. We're going to start with this guy right over here.
Hey everybody, my name's Zev. I'm playing Duke, the thief. He's very lackadaisical compared to everybody else. But yeah, we'll kick it over to Pot.
Speaking of someone with less broken fingers than him, hi, my name's Randy, and I play Dorthis Patty Becca, or Pat, as people know, an elven wizard, or the elven wizard, or the wizard who's an elf. Either.
All of these are true. Let's hear from the mini J.
First off, it's J's.
Oh yeah,
apostrophe S, because there are multiples.
J apostrophe Z.
Hi everybody, this is Eli. I am playing the human fighter whose name is Julius Jacob Jedediah Jeffrey James Jonathan Jackson, son of Jacob Jedediah Jeffrey James Jonathan Jackson, otherwise known as Jays. He's a
The
sophomore.
irony is all of those actually start with the letter G, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it should be like how would you pronounce that if the J was like the H sound? It was like
If the J was an H sound, it would be Julius Jacob Jedediah Jeffrey James Jonathan Jackson.
And your name would be
His name would be You'd be like asthmatic all the time.
Yeah, if I did that noise specifically right now, I think I might actually die.
All right, well, let's hear from the last guy on the list there for players.
Yeah, this is Chris. I'm playing Manfred Blackwell, the Paladin.
The Paladin. I am Joe. I am the game master. We're going to get back into our adventure, but before we do that, we actually had a level up at the end of our last session, and with that, we want to have Chris tell us a little bit about that process for the Paladin for Manfred. Chris, go for it.
Well, I get to pick an advanced move, but I do have a question on the advanced move.
Yeah, go for it.
That I want to pick. So it's the Hospitaller one. When you heal an ally, you heal 1d8 points of damage. So does that mean I heal 1d8 points of damage too? Along? Because normally the lay on hands, I get to heal somebody for 1d8, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like a repeat, but it's like, do I also heal at the same time? Is that how that works?
Let me look. Yes.
Okay. Because it kind of almost didn't make sense. Like, why would I take that? Some of these advanced moves don't seem so advanced to me.
Yeah. That one could be worded better. It should be something like you also heal or you yourself heal or something.
I wasn't sure. It's like, am I getting an extra 1d8 to heal an ally, or is it just me too? You know,
Yeah. It's now, definitely the Invader Zim advanced.
Here, let's put it. Advanced. Let's do it this. We'll do it this way, Chris. This is how we'll play this. Anytime you use lay on hands, you have an additional 1d8 to spend on an ally that you can reach, whether it be yourself or even somebody else.
Sounds good.
All right. So when Pot inevitably falls to the sword, you will be able to heal him for 1d8 and maybe again for 1d8. Or if someone else was injured, you just reach out and give them a d8 as well.
I've been stabbed.
Cool. So what you were saying, one of the things that happens when you go up a level, you can choose from the advanced moves, which for us are on the back of the character sheet we're using. So you're picking the Hospitaller, or I really don't know the right way to pronounce it. But hospital with LER at the end.
Yeah.
Hospital.
Unless you want to say hospitaller. You can do that if you want to get crazy with the pronunciation. Hospitaller. Yep. Hospitaller.
Hoseby taller.
Oh man, what kind of place is this?
What's in the water?
No, not a place for a paladin.
So you got the advanced move, but there was I want to look at the level up thing again.
Yeah, I choose one of your stats and increase it by 1.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that was one of the options back in the day here.
So what actually happens, and I'll read the level up while you're thinking about that, but it is when you have downtime, this is hours or days, and experience equal to or greater than your current level plus 1. So we were all level 1 to start last time, which meant 8. So level 1 plus 7. You subtract that amount from your experience, and you increase your level by 1. You choose an advanced move from your class. If you're the wizard, you get a new spell in your spell book. Otherwise, you also then choosing one of your stats and increasing it by 1. And what you want to look for on that, with the exception of Constitution, Constitution also adds to your current hit points because you're modifying Constitution.
Right.
But other than that, you're going to look at that bar right above your stats to get an idea of where those bonuses kick in.
Well,
so, for example, a plus 1 happens at 13. So if you currently have a stat at 12 and you want to get a plus 1 out of it, put your first point in there. Also, your top is plus 2. So when you get to
well, supposedly you can go up to 18 for your stat, but like, what does that get you? Because
you can't. That the big benefit there would be the Constitution, because you'd be getting 2 more hit points.
Yeah, but so is that how it worked? Because I'm assuming, is there a plus 3 in the Dungeon
No.
World game? I didn't
Plus-
think there
plus
was,
2,
but
yeah, plus
but
2
why
is
would
the
it say?
top.
But why does it say you could raise your stats to 18 then? How does that make sense? I would
Because
assume there would be a plus 3 then.
the only thing the only thing that really comes into play there is the raw number of the stat for Constitution is your base for your hit points. Everything else, that number doesn't mean anything. It's always the modifier that means something. Therefore, it doesn't make that much of a difference if you go past 16 for your other stats.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So usually for me in the first couple levels, what I look for is, since I had to put an 8 somewhere, something has a -1. If I want to get rid of that, that's like the first thing I'll do is I'll put that 8 to a 9. It gets rid of the -1. If that's not the case, or then afterwards, the next things I would approach would be either the 15, because that would go to a 16 and be a +2, or the 12, which would go to a 13 and be a +1. Those are the ones that I usually go for first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to do the con just for the +2, but do I really need it? You know what I mean?
It depends on what the stats are.
Well, because
I
I'm
can't remember for the
charisma
paladin if you have
it's
any
charisma
move
based.
require
Yeah.
Constitution or con.
Yeah, it's charisma based, right?
Yeah.
For most of the stuff.
However, if you want to start trying to defy danger
Yeah,
with
I
your
was gonna say I could hack
Yeah.
and slash. Well, yeah, I could hack and slash it up. No, that wouldn't change. My dex would get a +1 if I bumped that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. For the +1, 12 to 13 on the dex.
Nice. All right. So we're going to do, now that we know a little bit about the paladin being is going to step up as healer as well as be a little more dexterous, we are going to look at a recap from last time. And I don't know who looks like they want to do a recap.
I definitely do not remember. I will tell you right now. I played another session on Saturdays. I'm like, I don't remember what happened.
No problem. I actually wasn't going to pick on you because I just had you talking about your character. So it was definitely going to be some non-Chris person.
I vaguely remember some stuff.
10.
Somebody with hair.
Oh, Randy then.
Oh, 2 in a row? Gotcha. Okay.
So,
wait till next week.
Guess who did?
Pat was playing his noodle outside of the cabin that they found Jay's. And
his noodle
Jay's,
also played with him a little.
A little bit too. They
This
decided to
noodle
continue
freaks
up,
me out.
continue up the volcano together, where they approached a cave with 2 Gombies, or whatever we were calling them.
Yes.
Goblin zombies.
Goblin zombies, yes.
We quickly dispatched them, and we walked inside, where there was this black cold wall blocking us of darkness. Touching it would freeze you to the bone. It almost froze water by just touching it for a second. So after some deduction by Zeb's character Duke, and I think Eli's character Jay's, and Manfred trying to push Jay's into the wall, we realized that there is a lever on the other side possibly, but I decided to go and waste the light staff and do a ritual that allowed us to burst through real quickly.
Staff of
Where we-
Light, mister.
Then Staff of Light. Okay.
Gosh,
We're,
you're going to destroy it. At least know the name.
it wasn't my staff. I didn't care.
No, it wasn't at all. It just went away. Poof.
Duke, whose hand already was hurting from, well, it's Duke, stuck his hand inside a trap, and or was it Jay's that stuck his hand? Someone stuck their hand into a mouth, and it got stuck.
It was me. And just for some context, my hand was already mangled because of the Staff of Light and the Stick of Explosion.
So Jay's ripped it out and then snapped all the fingers, but the pinky back into place. When some more Zomblins showed up.
Both of them, by the way. The Gombies is really good as far as, to me, it almost sounds like a candy, like you were eating the warheads or something. I could see warheads, Gombies, that could be a candy. But I think the other one is a little more clever, and I want to say maybe it was Eli or somebody that said it last time. It was Zomblins.
Zomblins.
I like Zomblins.
Yeah. It was like 6 of them were marching down where I tried to use some prestidigitation to make a rock wall, but of course it was fake looking, so it barely passed us while Jay's dug into the wall, Zeb ducked down, and Chris just was like, "Come at me, bro," with Manfred. And so we made
I'm coming at you, bros.
pretty
Manfred.
much.
Yeah. Charge, bro.
We dispatched them. We found ourselves going down. Actually, was it down or up? I thought it was down.
It was
Down.
down.
There was 50 feet where you were on a decline going down,
Where we found 2
and
tunnels.
then it reached a T-junction, which is
I did a nice little sniff to the left and didn't smell anything, and Duke did a sniff to the right where he found a trap 10 feet in, and we heard some skittering of what sounds like a large insect coming our way. But it was actually the end of the episode. It wasn't a bug. So
it was.
We're cool. There's nothing there.
The skittering was from above, so you could hear it kind of like from the ceiling, but it was on that from that T-junction. So facing when you came down the decline and you hit that T, turning to the right is where you would see, or where Duke recognized there was a trap, and also where that skittering sound is. And then it just kind of goes into darkness after that. And then to the left, I think, is where you'd found the end of the episode last time, but that also just goes to darkness. However, I think the detect magic and the detect trap things were like the left side was pretty clear, and that's kind of how I left it. So essentially the big things you got past last time: the darkness trap, the 5 Zomblins in the passageway, even though they could see right through your paper mache. You guys all, I think, overall rolled pretty well and made a pretty special encounter out of that. It's actually a kind of a small amount of stuff to happen in a Dungeon World session, but because of the way we handled it and everybody getting a shot at doing something frankly spectacular, it was kind of drawn out. So we're just going to jump right back into it. And at this point, just a reminder of how things look. The tunnels you're in, only about 5 feet wide, about 7 feet tall, and the tunnel is kind of arched. They're never completely flat at the top, but they can get close. And that arch isn't completely consistent. 5 foot wide walls, 7 foot high in the center, that's pretty consistent. But the actual shape of the top seems, it's iffy. Like maybe some parts of the rock were harder to get through than others. And also, as a reminder, you're inside a volcano now. Technically, you're inside you've entered the volcano from the outside. So there's a little bit of warmth. You're starting to hear that, that low thrumming kind of volcano-y sound of moving air and heavy things just kind of moving in the distance.
Now, do we hear Zomblins going, "Oh, we oh"?
No. Oh, Kalima.
Oh no, not that guy.
You now do have that decision point of, are you going to the right where there's a trap? Are you going to the left where there isn't one as far as the light can see?
I have a question.
Duke.
For our bonds for those that completed their bonds last time. Do you just want us to keep that to ourselves
Damn
until the
right.
end?
I was going to
or-
mention if you have created any new bonds that you want to share with the character you've created them with, let's do that.
Okay.
Well, I'll go first.
Go ahead. Zeb.
I'm going to say that I was after Eli exploded that Zomblin in
Mm.
front of my eyes, and Manfred, speared two of them, and it was just an awesome display of power. I kind of, and knowing that they're both, mutual friends, that they know each other, I kind of want to learn more about the truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's my goal, at least.
So, but it's going to involve those two characters.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Curious how we play that out. Does anybody else have any new bond that they have with another character?
Well, finding out while I was away that the other three characters know each other kind of well, I decided to add Jays will play an important role in events to come. So, as my bond with him.
Yay, I'm important.
It's also
Not
the
an
last of
important
my.
role.
It's also my last of the pre-made ones,
Okay.
which I thought might work anyway. Fighter,
Yeah.
important role, probably. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those that's nice and vague that you should be able to find a way to make it work, even if that important role is like, I don't know, Eli wasn't able to play this week, and it was really important. So it's kind of an easy one to fill. So I'm very curious what important piece we use to see where that comes out.
I
How
can
about,
hash it down more important, more detailed if you'd like. But
No, I love it to be vague because that way it's up to our interpretation at the end, and we can all talk about it. Kind of like the end of session, where we're like, "All right, was there anything new or useful or important or anything?" And we figure it out. So I like the vagueness of it. It's a good one.
right on.
Which is why I didn't press Zeb for any more than what he said about he wants to learn about the truth. The only thing I really asked was, "It's going to be with these two characters?" Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured it would force them into ad lib, and it should be good.
Yeah, that's the idea.
How dare you make me improv in
Yes,
this
and-
role-playing game?
Eli, do you have any new bonds?
I have not made any new bonds as of yet.
If you think of any while we're playing, just mention it. Mainly because it'll put that bug in the ear of not just myself, but the player for the character who you made a bond with. Chris, anything with bonds?
None yet. Maybe something will come along.
All right, so you guys are facing the T junction to the right with the skittering, or to the left where no magic or traps were detected.
I mean, I kind of vote left.
Yeah, and
I
also it will
agree.
be important of the order now that we're in here, and you guys really can't swap places too quickly and easily. It'll make a difference who's in front.
Well, how's the lighting in here?
There
Right.
isn't any.
If I remember right, last time I don't know if that spell is still in effect, but
The light
Odd.
spell?
Yeah, how long was light
Yeah,
last?
Until you cancel it, I believe.
So I still my
Or until
my
the
stats
thing
on
is
it.
what is it, out of your presence, I think was the
Yeah,
verbiage.
pretty much. Yeah.
But it's concentration or ongoing, or hell, I can't remember even what it's called right now. But the spell,
Let's
you have
see.
to keep the spell going. You can't
Cantrip.
cast, I think, what's that?
Just reading cantrip. An item you light. An item you touch glows with arcane light, about as bright as a torch. It gives off no heat or sound and requires no fuel. As otherwise like a mundane torch, you have complete control of the color of the flame. The spells last as long as it is in your presence. Does not
Along
say
the
anything about
title line,
concentration.
does it say? So it's like light.
Just says light and then cantrip, and there's nothing else other than the information about it. All the
Okay.
cantrips just say that. Only the spells say summoning, deviation. They don't even say concentration on any of these either on the first level spells. None of
I
these
gotta
seem to
look,
say.
because I know
What does-
there's something there, and I just want to make
What
sure
does
I'm
it say
not.
with like the
I'm not-
casting spell skill or whatever?
Yeah, let me check the casting spells and the regular rolls. Let's see.
No,
Yeah,
it is
no, it's
where
gonna be
I
light.
thought. It is where I thought, but you were right in that it's not there. So if you look, for example, at charm person or invisibility or telepathy, they have the tag of ongoing.
Touch an ally, nobody can see them. They're invisible. The spell persists and the target attacks.
It's right along the name.
Oh, yeah. Illusion ongoing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when you have the word ongoing, you can only have one like that going at any given time. It's
So
like
that's
a
a concentration.
concentration spell in D&D. Think of it that way.
Okay.
You have to keep that spell going. So, for example, if you were knocked unconscious, then that spell would stop. To your point, though, that is not on the light spell. So this spell will last as long as it is in your presence, just like it says on the spell itself.
Okay.
That said, you had cast light on. I can't even remember what it was now. It was a stick or something.
It was my my
that
staff.
Duke was, but I thought Duke was holding the light.
I gave it to Duke, and I must have set it down during the fight with the Zomblins, but I don't know if that counts as not in my presence, since I was like within maybe 10 feet of it at all times.
Within sight of each other, I think works, and I don't mean literally within sight. Like if you blink, it stops. I mean realistically within sight. The other thing
light.
The other thing I will say is this would be a character choice, but since it's not an ongoing spell, you can cast it as many times as you want. You just have to roll every time you cast it because you're going to be casting a spell. So say you wanted everybody to be able to carry a light source and everybody wanted one. The only thing stopping you is whether you want to roll that many times or not. So I'll throw that out there right now, since we are talking about light. To Chris's point, whoever has that light should probably be up front. Otherwise, they're just going to be casting shadows in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to dismiss that, take my staff back. I'll get you a special staff at some point, okay?
It works for me, I guess.
So as soon as you do that, you're plunged into complete darkness.
I will then
Just
pick up a stone from the. I'm going to pick up a stone from the ground.
Okay.
And cast light on it.
Let's roll cast a spell.
Okay, let's see.
Let me share my dice room.
+3, -1. And first roll the game. Let's go.
Bingo.
All right, 10. So it works just fine.
Did you roll in the dice room?
Went on mine.
I saw it.
Yep.
All right, let me refresh it. Hold on. Maybe because I had to reboot because of updates. Yeah, there it is. I did not refresh my page. I see the 10 now. Okay.
Sweet. So this little rock I go and hand over to either of the two gentlemen that wish to lead. I guess Jays would not really want to, so I'm going to hand it to my good buddy Manfred. Would you like to hold this rock for me?
No, because I have a shield and a sword in my hand. Someone else needs to do the light.
Dang it, I'll cast it on your shield.
I got it. I have an idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will take the rock and I will put it in my mouth, holding it in my teeth.
Nice. So you'll be a lantern. I can just see the rays kind of shooting out in a cone shape. Nice.
Please don't swallow that.
Don't worry. I won't.
Yeah, it's a shame. Well, I was going to say it's a shame you don't, but I don't know that you don't have metal teeth, because that could be like a disco ball effect. If you had a good grill going, we could do a disco ball.
The color will be neon pink.
Inside a volcano. Why not? Cool. So with that in mind, does that mean Jay's is going to be point?
I saw a pretty flower with this color on it. Enjoy.
Do I have a shield? I forget. Yes, I did take a shield.
Yeah. Because you made it so you could use your weapon one-handed, right? The joust.
It's a big reach weapon, but I am strong
like
and
bull.
soft.
Well, if Jay's is up front, I don't mind being second, and then maybe we should have Manfred in the back to cover us in case we get rushed.
To quickly kill anything that comes close.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So with that in mind, we're going to say Jay's up front, followed by Duke, followed by Pat, and Manfred.
Now, Duke, please be aware that there may be more traps ahead, since you found one the other way.
I'm sniffing. I'm going to sniff them out.
Wait, which way did we decide we were going here?
I think we chose left.
The next question.
Two of them chose left.
I want to go right. I mean, we know something's over there. Let's go take care of it. I want stuff sneaking up behind me.
Yeah, he's got a point. He does.
That's the truth of things.
So if I remember the way I described it right, Duke saw a pressure plate, and you know it goes to a trap, but you're not positive what the trap is yet. However, you've got some clues. You've got the skittering and stuff in the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll all shuffle around in the.
So you want to avoid the
spin.
plate. This pressure plate covers the floor, so it's a danger that you guys are going to have to defy if you want to get past it. Now, if we've got Jays up front, Jays, how would you get over this, or how would you not engage this pressure plate that covers the floor and it is more than a full long step, so you couldn't just like reach your foot way out and step over it. It's longer than that.
This is a big pressure plate.
Yeah. Actually, let's make it easy. Where I'm saying everything is all the hallways are 5 feet wide, this is 5 foot as well, so it's a 5 foot square.
Okay. So what I would like to do here, I've got I don't have a bonus to it, but I've got some dexterity.
In Defy Danger, can't you just pick which one?
Well, I
You
mean,
can pick, but you have to describe it so that I buy what it is you're picking.
Okay, I get you.
and I don't want to solve every trap with I headbutt it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let me give you a little bit of an example here, because I thought I heard Eli say dexterity, and what I would say is, for example, and you may not have even been going here, Eli, but just to give an example is, if you were going to say I'm going to use dexterity and jump over it, to me, I would say the jump would probably be strength. Dexterity would be something like you're going to try and do the wall run or crab walk along the walls or something. To me, that's
I was going to do the wall run. That was my plan.
My idea was actually completely different.
Yeah. But I just want to say it that way as an example. You describe it in a way that will use the stat you want to use, and as long as it sounds doable, we do it. Otherwise, it's everybody. The first instinct is I want to get out of the way of the danger, and almost all the time that's dexterity. So I want to hear more about. I'm not just getting out of the way, but I know that it takes 5 pounds of pressure to activate this pressure plate, so I'm going to put 4.5 pounds of pressure on it. So that'd be like intelligence, trying to be super smart about the whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, we'll end the example, and Eli, go ahead. What's Jay's up to?
So remember how, as I'm sure everybody here understands how a flail is constructed. It is the haft,
like this,
the chain, and then the weighted, the weight on the end. What my idea was to lock the end of the haft onto the chain link securing the weight.
Okay.
Because my flail is so long, I could set the haft over on the other side, so it's a very minor ramp.
Yeah.
It's elevated just above the pressure plate, but I would still have to balance to get across it.
Okay. That sounds like dexterity.
Yeah, that's why I thought dexterity.
Yep.
And I know I don't get a bonus to it, but my brain said, this is what I thought, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Now, here's another way to do it. Since it's 5 feet wide, Jay's is taller than 5 feet, right?
Probably.
You say probably. I don't. My thought is you could say you're forcing your hands against the walls to support yourself while you're going through, and that could be strength. You see, I just like to try and help you guys figure out the way to use the best stat, but at the same time, if you fail, you get experience. So it's like,
it could also be funny too. I say go.
Yeah, that's really where my brain's going. Like, if this fails, this will be funny.
All right, so let's go ahead and defy that danger with balance or dexterity.
Okay, with a 12 dex, that's +0, so that's 2d6 +0.
Yep.
I'll
add the 0. You don't have to.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Yeah, it's difficult math, right?
Ooh.
Oh, hey, look, there's a failure.
Hey, did you use your face?
I had, but
he was trying to do a handstand and then do the walk, but realized he had to balance on the flail. And now, so first off, that make sure you mark an experience for your character, because
So do you hit your
6
jaw?
minus,
because
you got a
have a
failure.
rock in there.
So here's what for my purposes, what's going to happen is within the first 2 or 3 steps, one of your feet slips, you hit the pressure plate. So you're going to be activating the trap. You can decide before I actually have the trap activate, do you have like an initial reaction? Because you know you failed, like immediately. I'll give you like an initial reaction before I describe what happens with the trap.
Okay. I think upon realizing that I have failed, losing my balance, knowing that my foot, chink, oh no, I think instinctively I would move that foot to kick my flail back into my hand. And that is my initial reaction. I don't know what's happening, but whatever it is, I want to hit it.
Okay.
That's
So
probably the best way to keep myself safe.
So here's what I picture happening, because I like to do this from the movie / camera view. As we start, we get to that pressure plate. Duke points out the pressure plate. I see Jay's adjusting the flail to make that solid pole so that you can go across it. You lay it down nice and carefully, and then the camera comes into your close-up of your feet just starting to get onto the pole, and then one foot just slips off the side of the pole and hits the ground. We switch the camera view to your face, to which I assume at that point would be an oh shit yeah, like that. And then the camera immediately flips back to the foot, and your toe goes underneath the pole and just kicks the flail back up to your hands. And from there, the camera goes straight up to the ceiling. The ceiling stone kind of just slides out of the way fast, and large, like 2-foot diameter scarab beetles just fall from the ceiling on top of you guys.
Magic missile.
magic missile.
Magic missile.
Now, is magic missile? I mean, magic missile is always guaranteed to hit the target. But I'm very curious when we do this, how your magic missile avoids your friends. So think about that when we get to you casting the spell, because this is super close quarters. Bugs just fell on you, and you want to zap the bugs. So with that, right behind Jay's was Duke. So I want to look at Duke for the first one to be able to act, because we would be the closest to the whole thing. The bugs just fell down. If you had to guess, because you don't have a good view yet of all these just black big beetles just falling from the ceiling, there's probably between 5 and 15. Just a whole lot of crash, skitter, nasty.
So it's not as bad as the Mummy movie.
Yeah.
No.
It's the whole
And
time.
they're bigger. These are like bigger than a Frisbee, right?
Oof.
Yeah.
The whole time Jay's is doing his balancing act, I'm like, what's he doing? What's he doing? And I as soon as I see that he's slipping and falling, I'm going to
Yeah.
I'm going to immediately draw my what do I even have?
A weapon.
Yeah,
of some
let's see.
type.
weapon here.
Jacob-
Well, I know you had the throwing
Explosions.
dagger.
Throwing knives.
We've seen those so far.
I have.
I've written
I
down
think-
throwing knives.
I think I also have just a short sword.
A bag of
That
swag.
sounds right for the thief. I think that was one of the starting gear options.
Yeah, I have a dagger and a short sword. So I'm going to draw my short sword immediately, and I'm going to take a step back, hopefully not bowling over Pot.
Yeah, I would say you guys would be more than half a foot apart from each other, right? So there should be plenty of space to move around, and it is easy enough to switch positions, especially when we get into this. If somebody wants to, like, Manfred's going to want to be up front here in a moment, I'm sure, and that's easy enough to do. But for me, I wanted the order so that when something happens, I know who to pick on first.
At this point, have they completely fallen? Can I?
They're kind of falling still, which is why it's hard to get a grasp on exactly how many.
Then I'm just going to swing wildly in front of me. avoiding chase.
Let's just do a hack and slash then. Let's see what happens.
All right. What should I do?
I can't wait for my new back
2d6.
tattoo.
Yeah, hack and slash. Hack and slash is roll plus strength. Roll is 2d6 plus strength modifier.
That's +1 for me. A 5.
Okay, so there's a failure. Good start, guys.
This
Just
is
make
much
sure you mark
failure
an
at that.
experience.
This
I
is
can level up
called-
now.
This
Yeah.
episode is called "We All Level Up or We All Die."
Yeah, I think. Well, I was going to say death isn't that common. It is more common than D&D, that's for sure, because you can actually die here and you don't get 50 death saves before you die. But so for this, what'll happen is at this point there are enough of these things falling and have fallen that now Jays and Duke are buried under these scarabs. And again, think of a scarab. I mean, it's bigger than your head. It's probably about the size of a frisbee for the body, and then you've got the nasty insect legs and pinchers and what have you.
My
and
mangled
there's
hand is the only thing
yeah,
looking up.
there you go. So they're just kind of covered at this point. So Pat, Manfred, you see that, and the light, because Jays is holding the light in his mouth, the light's just kind of shooting in between scarabs, giving you just enough light to see what's going on.
That's hilarious.
What
Pot
do you guys wanna do?
blossom.
All right. So the way I think magic missile, like the way I've seen it in like video games, and the way it always hits its target is that I kind of think that they sort of do a homing thing. But if that doesn't really work for you, I was kind of wondering if there could be a way I like to.
It's your magic missile, dude.
negative-
It's going to hit the enemy. I just want you to describe how.
At this
So-
point, you probably won't hit us because we are underneath them.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
There
I'm
is
not,
a wall of scarabs.
The reason I was saying think about how it would avoid is like, for example, if you had a magic missile that just took the shape of like a little rocket, you could say when it gets near an ally, it like stops in midair and turns and then goes to the bad guy and hits them or something. I was just trying to think of a way that you could come up with how your magic missile doesn't affect your allies, because this is going to be the first time your allies are covered in bad things and you're going to kill the bad things without affecting them. So it might be cool to think of why it doesn't affect them.
yeah. So I think they are always in a constant moving. So the only way that they'd hit an ally is if for some reason the ally was to get right in front of it. It doesn't just stop. It constantly moves. So it homes on the enemy of my choice. And that is what I choose to do, is target one of the new beetle scaraby thingies that have fallen from the ceiling and onto my friends.
Yep. I like the word scarab because I do. So I'm going to use that. They're big black beetles, scarab.
It's a cool word.
So you're going to cast a spell. Let's
Yes,
do a cast a
let's
spell.
Go. +3 -1 and roll. 6. So
Oh my.
Oh,
Good.
no.
I'm guess I'll take the unwanted attention.
Well, hold on. A 6- is a failure.
No, it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, so 7. Okay, well,
Okay.
I straight up lose magic missile, making me a melee character all of a sudden.
So at this point, yes. And this is something that is kind of, I won't say unique, but rare in that most failures, they don't tell you what happens for the 6-. So with that, well, let me look at this here. So at the 7 to 9, this, whatever, right? All right. So the 6-, it actually doesn't say, so I can pick. And in this case, you're not going to forget the spell. You're going to get covered in scarabs too. And now Manfred is the only one not being smothered by these bugs. And you guys are about to start taking some damage depending on what Manfred does.
Yeah, I kind of just want to like leapfrog on top of the pile and crush the scarabs on top of everybody.
Crunch. And of course, the bug guts, obey gravity.
yeah.
So everyone down there would get covered.
Yeah. And they open their mouths as the bug guts going because they're screaming because they're in so much pain because I weigh probably 300 pounds.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll take a swing at one then. So,
Just
unless I
one.
can do the crush. Well, I'll take a swing at all of them.
Remember this dungeon
Every
rule, Chris. You tell me
single
what you're trying to
scarab.
accomplish, and then we
There's a
find
bunch
out what
fall, I'm
move
just
you're
going to be
triggering.
like, just cut them as they fall. If there's not any more falling, then I'll just, I don't know, start just start thrusting into a bunch. Try to clear them off of everybody.
Not going to try any I Am the Law stuff?
No, I was thinking about it, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to waste an attack yet.
No problem. No problem. So I guess what I'm looking for is you're just going to kind of swing at the ones that are falling still, because there are still a couple falling since everyone's failing.
Yeah,
Falling
yeah. If there's still
equals
stuff
failing.
falling, I'm gonna just get them before they hit the ground, kind
Okay.
of thing.
All right, yeah. So let's go with a hack and slash thing, because it looks like it's just going to be straight up. You're trying to destroy them.
Yes.
So we
11.
got- hey, that goes to 11.
Yep.
All right, so you didn't fail. I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I thought I was going to actually.
So because of what you described, and because you were successful, and this being the way D&D Dungeon World works, Randy wrote this on a post-it: 10 plus yay, 7 to 9.
Sort of.
What is it?
Yay.
Sort
Sort
of,
of.
yeah.
Yay.
Sorta yay, 6 minus fuck with an exclamation point even.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just to remind myself now, since
Yeah.
I'm confusing myself.
The so because you described you're just going to be hitting the ones that fall until they stop falling, you destroy several of them that are falling, and then they stop. And at that point, it is now a pile. And you could tell from when you were hitting them, because even though you've got a nice sharp sword and all, they are hard-shelled creatures. They're pretty darn thick and heavy. So as you hit each one, you're like, man, that thing's probably like 20 pounds. Man, that one's probably like 30 pounds. So these are some heavy bugs. And now they're laying on top of the others because each one of you was under there and there was, a series of failure happening. What I want to do is for Zeb, Pat, and Zeb, Duke, Pat, and Jays, each of you roll a D4, and you're going to take that damage, and you're not going to count armor because you're being crushed inside your armor at this point. The armor's not really helping. So I say Eli got a 4. So Jays will take 4 points.
It's all right. It's all right. I've got 25. Well, I have 24 hit points.
Yeah.
What?
Duke takes 2 and Pat takes 3.
You have how many?
Well, HP is 10 plus Constitution, and I put 15 in my Constitution.
Yep. So that's 25.
And then last session, I took 1 damage.
There you go. You got it. And I was going to say something about like getting hit points back, but we technically didn't do a camp or a rest or anything, so we're clear there.
I think this is the
with
first
that.
any of us have done.
If either Duke, Pat, or Jays has an idea of what they want to do right now,
Yeah,
What is it?
mine's 4 plus Constitution, so I have 5 hit points.
well, you're the wizard. You're
I
not
have
the fighter.
I know, it's like, how do you have
Yeah.
that many? Did I read
Hold
that wrong?
on.
I just want to
4
double check.
Randy, it's 4 plus Constitution, not 4 plus Con. So the Constitution number, not the Con modifier.
Oh, okay. So
So
it's
what is
way
your
more.
Constitution?
My Constitution that I chose? I put the 15 there.
Yeah, so you'd have 15 plus your 4 for being a wizard.
So okay, that's much better than I thought it was. I was like,
Yeah.
how squishy am I?
I think technically the way the game works is the lowest hit points you can start with is 12. And I think that's if you put the 8 on the Constitution and you play the wizard, you get 4 more. So I think 12 is like
Okay.
the lowest.
See, I thought
Okay.
I was rocking a whole 5 hit points.
Duke raised his hand. You see the mangled hand coming up through the scarabs. Like, I want to go. I want to go.
I'm going to. Hopefully, this works. I still have my golden root potion
Ooh,
on my person.
this is the make a friend potion.
Yes, it is.
Or
So I'm
poison,
going to.
technically. Yeah.
I'm going to hopefully get as close into my back pocket as I can with my non-mangled hand, which is sticking out at the top of the stack of scarabs, and I'm just going to crush it in my hand
Okay.
to get it on as many of the scarabs as possible.
Okay. We can do that. Let's I'm trying to think of if I want to do any roll. I'm not going to do any roll with it yet. Let's see what Pat and Jays are doing. Any ideas, guys?
I'm going to attempt. What I want to do is the that classic superhero move where they get piled on by a bunch of goons and they just, brah,
Okay.
just throw their chest out, arms up in the air. You cannot contain me.
Let's see what Pat has in mind before we carry that one through, because I want to be able to make these things work together.
Oh, Pat's went to cast a spell and they got things landing on top of it, so he's just trying to breathe, I think. So
Pat is in a state of coping right now.
There's a cat fight between a noodle and a beetle right now, like on my shoulder.
So what I want to do then is we're going to kind of do this together-ish. You guys, between Zeb and Eli, I want you guys to pick. So either we're going to have Duke doing a defy danger with dexterity by trying to get his potion all on stuff, or poison technically, or we're going to have Jays do a defy danger with strength, where you're going to just power through the whole thing. And the reason I say it's one or the other person I want to do aid to help. And what'll happen is, if it's successful, the poison will be spread on as many of them as possible while they're being thrown about. So it's going to be a combination of the poison gets into the air as the scarabs are being thrown about. So you guys pick who wants to make the roll and who wants to aid.
Dexterity is my best trait.
And strength is Jay's best trait.
So
that's why I'm like, you guys get to pick it.
It's just the luck of the dice roll at this point.
Could be. The other thing to consider is when you roll to aid, you roll plus bonds. Either of you have more than one bond for the other?
We completed a bond, I think, last time with the whole.
It matters what you have now for bonds.
Okay, so he's got one,
have
right?
any present bonds with Duke.
You don't have any.
But I do with the whole truth and.
All right, so then it makes more sense for Duke to roll the aid roll, because you would add +1 to that, whereas Jay's would not. So yeah, so in that case, let's do it this way. We're going to do the aid roll. We'll do that first, just to see if you actually do help. But that will be you're rolling plus the 1 bond you have, and this is you guys are just going to work together to make the scarab thing happen.
Is that so? That's 2d6s plus 1.
Yep. Right. It's the convention in the game is anytime you see roll plus, what you're saying is 2d6 plus.
Right. It was an 11.
11. So, all right. So now you get a +1. I guess technically the move says they get a +1 or +2, or -2, your choice. I'm pretty sure you want to go with the +1.
Yeah,
right? Because the other one is for interfere, when you actually want to stop something.
I know. It might be funny. I'll definitely take the +1. So I would be rolling 2d6 +3 for my defy danger strength. I am Superman, hear me roar.
Or the way Randy said it earlier, you'll be doing 2d6 +3 -1, but add another one.
Sure.
That's exactly what I said.
You didn't do the last add another one, right?
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
All right, hold on.
Hey,
I see a 7.
On my screen, the dice are cocked. Can I re-roll them?
If it didn't have this clear number here that said 7, I would say yeah.
Yeah, we know what it is.
Yeah, if we were playing at a physical table, anytime a die is crooked, I'm like, if it's close enough and it has a number you like, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, yeah, re-roll it.
Dude, last week my dice kept stacking on top of each other. So
now remember, on a 7 to 9, you still get what you're looking for. I, however, get to say, well, in addition to that, something else is going to happen. So in this case, what's going to happen
outcome, a hard bargain, an ugly choice.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's in this case, what is going to be is as the scarabs you're throwing them up in the air, the little vial of the poison, because it's the thief. It breaks, and it breaks just as all the scarabs are starting to move, and you kind of see the splashing happen. And unfortunately, almost all of the scarabs you throw off of you land on Pat. And Pat is further crushed. and Pat will be taking a D6 of damage. Randy, I'll let you roll your own damage.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So D6 minus 5, right?
Well, it depends.
Two.
Two.
Now, if I had my original hit points I thought I would have 0 hit points right now.
Yeah. In this case, it's just, they're adding insult to the injury, as the saying goes. So at this point, I don't know, 3/4 of these nasty bugs just kind of veg. They're not really interested in too much now. They're definitely, think of when a puppy's looking to get fed and they're just staring at one person. They're all kind of staring at Duke. But it's about 3/4 of them. You still got about 1/4 of them, Manfred, that are beating up on Pat, and you get to see all this. Pat has definitely gotten crushed. Does Pat make noises when he's being squished by 200 pounds of bugs?
I think it's somewhere around the lines of
that
screaming.
And I completely forgot to add for the cinematic effect as the scarabs are being thrown off and the liquid in the air. That's also when the mouth light comes back into full view. So it's like the sun rising with bugs flying.
It's got that like energy buildup inside the scarabs, and then the
yes.
I love
very
it
much. All right, so yeah, Chris, Manfred, what's he going to do here?
All right, so we have live scarabs attacking Pot still.
Yes.
Okay,
but
I will use
Pat in case that matters.
yeah, that's cool. I will do my eye on the law and be like, "Be gone, servants of evil! Let this man be." So,
okay.
See if I can pull it off.
And every time we do this, I have to remember what my role is on it. So I see, though, that you got a 9er.
Yeah.
So that is some success. So on a 7+, they will, I assume, well, I won't assume. You tell me which one you're picking for this.
Well, yeah, do what you say, back away cautiously, then flee or attack you. So we'll see what happens.
You get to choose one.
Well, I want them to do what I say.
I thought you wanted them. I thought what you were telling them was to back away and flee. So
I guess technically it is, but that's what I told them to do anyway.
Okay. So in this case, the ones who are not looking to Duke for scarab treats are immediately, they're like, I don't know what to do, and they just kind of crawl up the walls back into their holding pen above. But you've got now, you kind of, with the light out there now and having a good look at the situation, and they're off of Pat, you can see 8 of them are left, and they're just kind of, again, it's like Duke's got a pack of scarabs now. I don't know how long that's going to last.
I was going to say, how's that work?
It says the target treats the next creature they see as a trusted ally until proved otherwise.
And in this case, I was just going with Duke because who knows what they can see? They're scarabs. I just picked the person who gave them the poison.
You gonna put your pets back in their pen there, Duke?
Yeah, I'm like, shoo, get away. Go on.
Well, it's not an unreasonable request. They'll do what you ask them to do.
All right, cool.
Or how you shoo them along. You didn't really ask them to do anything, but they will obey the shoo. And because you know how the trap works, you could reset it. So you could kind of lock them back into their spot. No roll or anything involved. Presuming that's what you want to do. I just wanted to make sure I offer the option for you.
Oh, boy. It's going to really suck if that's a dead end.
You were reading my notes.
I will kill you.
I'm just going to leave it be for now.
Okay.
We need to close it.
Yeah, if we can close it, but maybe can I disable the pressure plate?
No, because closing it rearms it.
Oh, okay. Then I guess we'll just leave it open for now.
Oh man.
Like we got a little drawing there. That's kind of cool.
I mean, it says until proved otherwise. So unless somebody really convincing comes along and convinces my little scarab friends to,
In this case, the convincing otherwise would be you or your allies attacking them. Really, that's the way I see it, because it said they treat you like an ally.
Yep.
And in this
All right.
case, I would take that to mean, and I'm taking it to mean, they would treat you as an ally and your allies as their allies. So
All right.
if Jays went back and poked one in the face, they would be upset at everybody.
Sounds
Okay.
reasonable.
So you're gonna leave them in their hole, but not rearm the trap.
yeah, it feels too risky because it feels like
Okay.
as soon as they fall back down again, it's going to be round 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So from here, then you're gonna go farther down the that leg that went to the right from the T junction.
Which one was
Okay.
your favorite beetle? I like the one you called Ringo.
I'm also gonna talk to Manfred. I'm gonna be like, "How'd you do that? How'd you make them disperse like that? Like I did it, but I used a poison."
Well, when you speak the truth, many will listen.
And I just quietly nod and think to myself. It's
This
true.
is funny. I'm trying to find a way to share this without. Yeah, I think I can do it now, because I was telling you. You looked at my notes, right? So I'm gonna. Where is it? Oh, I gotta stop sharing that so I can share this.
Sharing is caring,
Window.
Joe. Sharing is caring.
I know how to do things, kinda. So
So
here's
what
my
is-
notes for this area. The darkness trap was 10 feet in. That trap was destroyed. There's 50 feet in, a decline. The T to the right and left. To the right has a scarab trap. Dead end after the trap. So guess what, Zeb? You were right. So anyway, you go another 5 or 10 feet past where the pressure plate was, and that's where, in the light you have, you can see that there's an end to the tunnel. And I won't, no suspense or anything at all. It is a dead end, because that's what I wanted it to be. I just
Well,
wanted it to be a little
Digging a
trap
hole
spot.
through the wall, making my own way.
Now to Chris's point, you could do whatever the hell you want with the dead end, but I've already established in my head it's not just a secret door or a false door or some other trap. It really was just a dead end. The idea was that people come down here and you can't tell which direction to go. You don't know where the trap is, so 50-50 shot, somebody's going to get killed by bugs. But people who know where to go only have to turn left. Anyway, that's what we got. You go down there, you see that dead end. Next step, what you gonna do now?
Can we please go left now, Manfred?
Are you
Sure.
leaving the trap in a disarmed state?
Yeah.
Okay. So at some point, if that poison wears off, you might find bugs at your back.
Yeah, let's close that trap.
You sure?
Well, we're not going back that way. It's dead end.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
Now it is
tinker
close
with it.
to where the T junction is, but you do have to go down the hall to hit the pressure plate. So it's not like you would accidentally step on it walking back through.
Yeah, I'll rearm it. Why not?
Okay. So you do take the time, you find all the right little mechanisms and where the wires are hidden, and you get the pressure plate click back up. The moving door on the ceiling closes back up. The skittering keeps going for a few seconds and then stops. So it's just quiet, like they know what's going on now.
We probably should have painted on that dead end wall. You probably feel pretty stupid right now. That's what we probably should have.
You do the Roadrunner
Come on,
thing where you
man, that
paint a
seems a little
tunnel
bit
on the
mean.
wall. So we turn, or actually we wouldn't even
Go
be
straight.
turning
We
at
go
this point.
straight.
Now you'd be walking straight to the other side, from the right side to the left side. That tunnel, again, still the same formation. You're walking through a volcanic rock of different styles, between like the pumice lava rock and some obsidian here and there, and just straight up stone, nicely carved, but still uneven ceiling in a lot of places. You're going further down. You've got, I'm going to keep the same order. So you've got Jays with the light kind of probably peeking around to make sure the light hits the out in front of Duke. Duke's up front. I don't like to remind people about their character stuff, but I can't remember, Zeb, if you still had one left over from Trap Expert, or if you even want to do it again because you're continuing to travel through a dangerous area.
I'm pretty sure I used that up on
Okay.
the
It
scare.
was how you found that the scare. What was
Yeah,
the scarab trap was there.
There you go. Yeah, I couldn't remember for sure, but I at least wanted to remind you that if it's something, since the thief is the only one who can do it, it's a thief, the thief thing.
Of course. In my mind, I'm constantly scanning, so I might as well just be rolling them dice.
All right. So just as a reminder, if you wouldn't mind, just read that again before you roll it, so we know what it is you're doing.
Yep. Let me find it.
Yeah.
When you spend a moment to survey a
I'm gonna
dangerous
share
area,
that right now. That's all my note. Oops.
Screenshot.
I didn't get to see it. I didn't get a peek. When you spend a moment to survey a dangerous area, roll plus dex. On a 10, hold 3. On a 7 and 9, hold 1. Spend your hold as you walk through the area and ask the questions.
Yep. And they're pretty much around something being hidden or there being a trap. So good things for the thief to know. Yeah, go ahead and make that roll plus dex.
Roll plus dex.
Good gosh, man. Mark another
Level up.
experience.
Beautiful.
Well, I needed the experience.
There you go. All right. A little farther down the hallway, it starts to actually turn where the hall you've been in so far has just been like straight angles, so straight down from the outside to that T junction. It's a literal T. There's like no rounding or anything. Now, however, after you're another 50 feet or so down this tunnel, it actually starts to turn gradually left and right, so you can't see very far ahead of you. After one specific spot where it seems to turn a little sharply to the right, Jay's, when you turn the corner, Duke's not there. He was in front of you a moment ago. He covers the light.
Yeah.
You're not
Oh.
supposed to swallow it. I told you that.
It
Tastes
got
like
wedged.
magic.
Oh my god.
Anyway, why aren't you walking? It's too tight to be stopping.
I lost Duke.
He's in front of you. Turn around and deals.
I'm going to put myself up against the wall and hold the light up. I lost Duke.
And easy enough for anybody else to see. You can just peek your head around and see that there's nobody around that corner.
Let's search around these walls. Maybe there's one of those hidden, like it's open, but it looks like there's a wall there, and maybe he slipped through.
I have an idea.
I would like to discern realities.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, I want to hear the idea.
What's the
I was
idea?
gonna take the haft of my flail and just like poke out everywhere 10 feet in front of me. Well, he's not invisible.
So we
But I
start
am.
with that. So as Jay's just kind of poking around, it sounded like Pat is taking a few minutes to survey, or a few seconds at least, to survey what's going on, check out the area, and we'll do that discern realities roll, Randy.
Let's see. It is
Plus
10
wisdom,
plus
always
wisdom.
for discern realities.
Wisdom is my second highest with a +1. So let's go and give her a old college try.
And Chris, I'm not sure if you were thinking the same thing for Manfred, but if you wanted to, of course you can.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
a
no, let
9.
him roll with it.
Okay.
Cool.
So we have a 9. Discern realities with a 9. You get to ask me one of those discern realities questions or something close enough.
Let's see.
And remember, just because it doesn't necessarily sound like exactly what you're looking for example, the first question, what happened here recently? It's pretty recent that Duke just kind of vanished.
Yeah.
So that would be something. But then all the other questions could be interpreted similarly as well.
Okay, so what here is not what it appears to be? That's what I'd like to know.
Ooh, okay.
Everything seems pretty normal, and something has to be off for Duke to just vanish into thin air.
So here's where, in a moment of clarity, Pat realizes The hallway is actually straight.
The path is straight. We've been zigzagging for a bit.
So when you think about that in that moment of clarity, you look, down this direction, the hallway is straight as far as you can see the light. You turn around, the hallway is straight behind you as far as you can see the light, but you can blink and look again, and it's all curved just like it was a minute ago. But you have discerned through your superior wisdom and intellect that this is some sort of illusion. Nobody else sees what you see at this point.
There appears to be some sort of illusion. I can probably use detect magic, but it would probably just further the explanation that something's going on here. Maybe it's not magical. Maybe we're rotating or something. I don't really fully know. But
so I'm watching Eli kind of play out that Jays was holding the light rock in his mouth for a while, and I just thought of a horrible, nice dad pun. You have rock jaw.
God damn it. Fuck no.
Nice. I'm sorry I stole that, Randy.
It's fine. But okay.
There we are. So now, again, just because I spent a bunch of time saying that, Pat said it's straight. We've been walking in curves, so I'll let you guys get back to the character interaction, except, Zeb, for now.
Does it feel like the hallway's moving unnaturally, or does it feel just like a normal, like, do we feel shaky whatsoever? Or I don't know how to describe this.
It's more, if you feel uneasy, it's more the idea that as the wizard, maybe you feel uneasy about having been caught in an illusion when you probably shouldn't have. But it's not like the walls are spinning and you got like that whole vertigo effect or anything like that. No, you're just able to kind of see both sides of the illusion coin, if you will. You can see where it's straight, and you can also see where the illusion is fooling you.
Okay, I'd like to use the third level spell I don't have of Dispel Magic.
No.
Oh, man. Magic the Chain, let's see.
Manfred or Jays, you got any thoughts of what you would be doing now?
Yeah,
actually, let me go back to Jays. You were poking the stick around.
Yes.
The stick, your flail, your 7 foot long flail or however long it is. I'm saying 7. I can't remember what you said, but it's a long flail.
Yeah, it's like a 10-foot stick with just a chain and a ball in the end.
You kind of feel like maybe you would understand what Pat's talking about. Like when you go to reach to poke that spot that looks like it's 3 feet away, it feels like you have to reach farther than 3 feet to touch it, but it still hits when it's supposed to. That, like, maybe you're kind of getting what he's saying. There's something that just doesn't quite seem right. And Manfred, sorry, Chris, I had interrupted because I wanted to finish that since Eli started by saying he was poking.
I want to yell, Duke, where are you?
Oh, hey, someone's actually going to speak up. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, real loud.
I think if we continue forward, we might get through this illusion and catch back up with Duke, who might not actually be that far ahead. So
in this case, if I felt like it, I would be typing this separately. So, earmuffs for everyone but Zeb for a moment. Duke, you're just watching these guys looking for you. It's like you are on the other side of one-way glass. They're right there. Although you can see and hear them, you can also hear, obviously when Manfred just shouts for you. And
I assume they can't hear me.
Well, you haven't said anything yet, but
True.
If you do say something, then yes, they don't. There's no immediate reaction to you saying something. Yeah. Now you can hear yourself make sound. Now, one thing you do notice is when you, we'll just call it vanish. When you vanished, all other sounds except for your party went away. So the background sound of the volcano is gone. It's like utter silence, and you hear every time someone in your party here, even touches a bit of gravel on the floor, it sounds super loud now because everything is amplified since you no longer have that white noise in the background. But yeah, you're able to see them and hear them, but at this point they don't appear to be able to see or hear you.
I'm gonna think back to Manfred and how he would meditate to converse with the truth.
Ooh.
I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna try my best just to listen to my own breath and see
It's
if
way
any.
louder than it was the
Yeah.
last time you listened to it. Yeah. With no other sounds except, well, your party right there making some noise, but all that background white noise is gone.
I'm going to trust in my friends that they'll find me, and I'm not going to try and break myself out of here. I'm just going to sit and I'm just going to listen to the noises of the earth.
I'm going to shoot magic missile down the hallway.
Earlier tonight, Zeb described Duke's attitude as lackadaisical. This kind of fits. If I'm stuck somewhere, I just wait for people to come find me. That works.
Yeah, I know they'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Manfred, what you thinking now?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Eli, can
So-
you hear?
How far can
Okay.
we see? Either way, like how?
So you still have the full light from Jay's holding the light. Now, granted, depending on where Jay's is holding it at any given time, it may be directional. That said, you can see both ways. Now, the direction you were headed in already is where Duke vanished, and it was around what was the sharpest turn so far. I don't want to say corner because everything here is very smooth. It's like an S. And you were going through a lazy S, and this was a sharp S. So as soon as Duke went around that corner, and then Jay's was behind him, and Duke wasn't there anymore. So that way, you can only see about 5 feet because that's where the wall turns. The other direction where you came from, where it was more gradual turns, you can see about 20 feet.
I want to go to that corner, that hard
Okay.
corner, I guess, and kind of look
And
around.
around the corner, it's like think of a carnival mirror funhouse, but instead of mirrors, it's stone wall. So as soon as you turn it, it just looks like you're looking in a rounded maze.
I want to like check out the walls and stuff, see if there's any secret doors and whatnot.
It all feels to initial touch and the sight and what have you, they feel and look just like every wall you've seen from the moment you entered the entrance where the Zomblins were. It all feels the same as it did before. I mean, there's something off a little, and you have heard Pat say that something's messed up here, so you can tell something's off. You just don't know what.
Hey,
At least
Pot,
not at this point.
why don't you have your little worm friend show us the way to go, or find Duke, something.
Bear with me a second. I hood up, I rip it off my shoulder, and I stick it on top of my head.
Wormhead.
Point me the way to go, Snape.
I'll even use Eye on the Law if I have to need some to aid him somehow. I don't know.
So the reaction to Pat, and you can see it's clearly a reaction to Pat saying point which way to go. It turns into a question mark.
It doesn't know.
How do we find
A
Duke?
little bit. Now, go ahead, Manfred. I wanted to answer that one first.
How do we
Manfred.
find Duke? I say to the worm thing.
I'm trying to think of it in a single character kind of thing. It is. I'm not going to do an arrow, but it is showing. All right, let's do it this way. The direction that you just looked, where I said it looked kind of like a maze, it makes the shape that you just saw of itself. So it makes the rounded circle-ish maze look as if to say in there. But because it can't just point to where it is because it doesn't know.
All right, I'll go towards that S-shaped hallway.
Okay.
See if I vanish.
Don't
Is
leave me
Jay's going
behind.
along with the light?
Come on, Jay. I grab Pummel. Come on.
Hey,
Come on.
you don't have to be so mean about it. I would go if you just ask.
So you guys are gonna continue. Pat, I assume you're going along.
Yes, I'm tagging along with Manfred and John Jacob Jingleheimer Jiff.
That's a good one.
I'm still
And
gonna
that
be
one is
poking
spelled with a
walls as I'm
G.
going.
All the walls just feel completely normal. So Pat can tell, and this I don't know if Pat has the kind of stomach for this or not. I can tell you if this was me and it kept going like it looked straight and then it looked curved, and while I'm walking both straight and curved, I think I'd probably be ready to puke because I don't think my stomach could handle that. But just to give you an idea of this, as Pat's walking, you can see that the hallway is straight, and when you blink, you're walking in a curve, but you're still following the hallway, and then you blink again, you're walking straight. I don't know if that might be disorienting. For everyone else, you're just following the curves of the hallway. And Duke, you can see the three of them walking straight towards you, and they're about 100 feet away. So now they're at a distance, whereas before they were right in front of you. So there's a disposition there. And now you realize you're sitting inside of what looks like a crystal of some kind. It's really thick rock, but it's very clear. And it barely distorts the light that comes through it, almost like a really good ice sculpture where it's almost completely see-through, but you still get a little bit of that variation of the light coming through. And as you guys are walking through the maze, it is really a maze. You're turning this way, turning that way. That's a dead end. You go back and you take the next route. After probably 2 minutes or so, you can see up in front of you a crystal that goes from floor to ceiling, and you can see Duke inside of it.
Ugh, I did not think I'd find him. Why do I feel like I've been drinking rum all night?
What are you doing in there, Duke?
Bink, 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 bink.
That's a good one, actually, because I was going to say, Zeb, Duke hears that, but you guys do not hear when Duke has any kind of reply. You can see him move and his lips move, but you do not hear anything.
Snape, do you know how to break this?
And I'm doing like charades and stuff. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like making the dog and stuff like that, and like trying to communicate it all.
And Pool Noodle thinks it's a game, and it starts mimicking Duke.
And then I'm just like, nah, just forget it. And
I don't think you got it right, Snape.
I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna look at Manfred, and I'm gonna try my best to talk to him with my mind, because that's what I think he does.
For some reason, I feel like our wallets are much safer right now.
So I'm like looking at him like this, like just trying like.
Is he gonna shit himself?
We have to get him out of here before that happens. Manfred, hold this.
Snape, or whatever your name is. Can I strike this, or do we need to use magic? Sword or magic?
Do you have my candles still? Give me those.
So the noodle points at Pat. And like points and bounces.
All right, Pot. Blast.
All right. I don't think a magic missile is going to do the trick. I can give that a shot, magic? But I'm going not for until level 3. I'm going to
fail for a while.
Oh man. That's
a magic missile. Magic missile. I'm going to perform a ritual. This might take a minute.
Ooh.
I pull out a piece of chalk and draw a little circle, throw my little, what was it, a bird and a snake or whatever the heck I drew last time on the ground. Then I'm going to draw.
It was a bird carrying a snake.
Yeah, bird carrying a snake. I'm going to draw 3 little circles, which would be normally what I do with candles, is around the circle. All right. I put my hand in the middle of the circle. We'll
do that one again. Before we get too much farther with it, because it's a ritual, I need you to tell me what you're trying to achieve, and not just get them out of there. Like how, and then I can give you the conditions in order to make it happen.
I'm trying to figure a way because it's not real crystal, it's magic in the form of a crystalline kind of object, I'm assuming. So my goal is to hamper the magic and crack it the best I can until it shatters, releasing it.
Okay. So with that, you've drawn your chalk circles, and what you'll need to do is you'll need help from both Jays and Manfred. While you do your incantations, Jays and Manfred are going to need to attack the thing in a specified spot. You get to pick where. And that hopefully will start the crack that your ritual can then exploit. So both of them will need to be hitting this thing in order for this to work.
While I am placing power on the front here, I need you two to go to opposite sides and strike. On the count of Dodo.
Got it. I'll move over
2
to my side, set my shield down, and go grab flail in both hands, and just, oh boy.
A D, a da, a D, a da, a Dodo.
Dodo. Now, the only thing to keep in mind for that, only because I'm watching Eli doing the full motion with the 20-foot long, flail, you don't have a lot of space to work.
It'll be 50 foot.
I know. This thing's gonna be a mile long.
Yeah.
I can choke up on the handle.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying.
I can put my hips into it instead.
And it's only because we have the visual going that I'm like, Eli did this big, baseball swing, but you wouldn't necessarily have the room for that. And then for Manfred, what's your choice of weapon to hit the thing with?
Longsword for me.
Okay, just a regular longsword. Okay.
Yep.
I don't mean to say it's nothing special. I'm sure your longsword is.
It's the paladin. The paladin's
Exactly.
longsword.
Yeah,
It's the longsword.
All right. So with this,
I have a question, real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
As the fighter, what my starting move is bend bars, lift gate.
Yeah.
When you use pure strength to destroy an inanimate object, roll strength on 10 plus, choose 3. On a 7 to 9, choose 2. Could I just choose 2 for depending on the success of his ritual?
So here's where if Randy hadn't already started with the ritual, I'd be saying let's just break it, right? Just bust it, Hulk smash. Because that's to me, bend bars, lift gates is Hulk smash. Right.
Yeah.
It is. You come up against something that you don't want to be there, so you're going to use your strength to make it not there anymore. And that would have been like immediately. What I want to do here is, because there's one more cost for the ritual, and let's see how Pat responds to that to see if you might, just get hooked up and smash. But what you're seeing, Pat, is the magic you're able to put into it just doesn't seem to be enough. As they're hitting it, it doesn't actually crack. You would need to sacrifice some magical item for this to work. You don't have enough magical power on your own.
All right, so I'm going to pull out one of my books and I'm going to turn to a page that is all about dispelling magic. I'm going to use one of my uses of my books, and I'm going to rip that page out. I'm going to hold it, and if that will work for me, I'll burn the usage of one of my books and that section of the book, because that's how I described how I was using it the last times, just finding sections.
Yep.
And
I'm with you. I like the idea, and I'm going to say it feels like it's almost enough. Maybe these guys need to hit it harder. Eli's face.
And I'm going like this.
3.
To Manfred.
Oh yeah, truth, man.
The little idol.
Number 3, my lord.
Like this with my point to my.
Oh no.
I'm going to count to Ododo again, but I'm also going to, while it's burning in blue flame, the page, I'm going to also use magic missile and slam into it with my other hand, opposite of where I'm
so
holding.
now we actually get to a roll. So I'm going to take that. Let's cast a spell.
A D, A jaw.
Oh, by the way, Pool Noodle went in the shape of truth as well to, play,
cool.
be a team player.
All right.
I'm still
Roll.
Oh
That is-
my
oh
god!
my
Oh
God.
my word, Randy. So here, Eli, I can now comfortably say, I don't expect you to need to break this.
You blew a hole through the volcano of a
Yeah.
volcano erupt.
So when the magic missile hits it, when you infuse the power of the magic missile into the book, the page from the book, and these guys are at the chalk circles that you drew, and as the magic missile is cast, it seems to go straight down to the circles, right up their legs, and then their arms just swing, Bruce Lee 2-inch punch kind of thing, bam, and the crystal at that point just shatters, and Duke, there's like almost the crystal hardly made any sound compared to the deafening return of the volcano sound. Everybody else didn't really notice that it was missing because they heard it the whole time.
Wait, was I up in the air or like sitting on the ground?
On the ground, not far off. I mean, the crystal probably had you 6 inches off the ground or so because it was thick.
I was like bracing for impact.
Yeah.
Like, when they started swinging wildly. I'll come back and I'll just be like, "Hey guys," but I can't hear. I can't hear anything yet.
Yeah.
Welcome back to freedom, Duke.
What?
Welcome.
We shall welcome back.
Light.
I'm a what?
It sounds like he's always chewing on a flashlight or something. Got rock jaw.
Rockjaw.
So at this point, you guys realize that you've traveled pretty far into the volcano, and Randy, from Pat's perspective, you pretty much have been able to walk in a straight line from the time you went down the left corridor, and it's just led you like farther and farther in. Where everybody else, you've got this feeling, well, maybe not Duke. I'll describe a little bit more of what happened to Duke in a moment so that you can describe it if you want. But we've been going left and right, curving this way and that, nice gentle curves, but it kind of felt like you were on flat ground the whole time. Once the whole crystal thing is broken, it's like the illusion drops and you realize you are now deeper, and it's warmer and the sounds are louder, and you can see the hallway behind you just keeps going. And the hallway in front of you, you can actually see a red glow about 40 feet down the hallway. So that you have your regular light, and then it kind of fades, and then farther down you see a red glow, and it looks like there's an actual corner down there at the end. And for Duke, when you turned that corner, you actually slid down a slide that had you just end up falling inside this crystal prison where you could not get back out. So you fell into it, the ceiling closed above you, and you were stuck there. Now you could see them, a little bit of magic, a little bit of, GM fiat, but you could see them the whole way, straight line. And you could see that they were up above you, and now they're down at your level. But you guys have probably descended another 100 feet, maybe. It was way more of an incline than you realized because the illusion. So now you're all back together. They got the band back together.
The truth of this place is strange and odd. I don't like it.
Like, I think we're getting close.
Let's end this necromancer and be done with it.
I'm
I have a
gonna,
question
agree.
about the crystal.
Thomas is done for.
Damn right. Eli, question about the crystal.
The way it broke, did it break into like chunks or did it break into like shards and slivers?
Let's
Or
go
the
with shards
pile
and
of sand.
slivers.
Is
Hand
there a
covered.
shard and or sliver about the size of a javelin?
Yes.
I would take it.
There wouldn't have been if you didn't ask. Just so you know.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
found.
With that 14, I'd like to think that a lot of it turned to dust, though.
Mm.
Ooh, powdered crystal.
But yeah, so the full length of it could be up to 7 feet because it was floor to ceiling. And again, all these hallways are about 7 feet. So the longest it could be is about 7 feet, but I'll say you could probably pick up anything between 5 and 7 feet long that would serve as a javelin. Sure.
Yeah, I'll just take a 5-foot piece.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
Javelin.
now that I'm saved, I'm gonna go up to Manfred and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, I tried that thing that you do, like where you listen to whatever. Yeah, I didn't hear anything. What's up with that?"
You
You
still
can't
weren't
handle the
listening.
truth.
Your mind is too loud. Yeah, you can't.
Like,
Uh,
I mean, like, is the truth like a thing? Is it like, is it just like an idea? Like, what is?
it is everything. It is everywhere.
Oh,
It's between
okay.
you and me
Your,
and the tree.
your mind
and the
is not
rock.
at ease.
I'm taking
I'll-
notes. Like everything, everywhere.
I'll casually walk behind Duke and kind of whisper to him, if you keep asking questions, he's just going to keep going on about it. I learned a long time ago to just stop.
Just like
See?
ignore him.
Jays knows the truth of things.
Although he's
I didn't
really
say anything,
predictable
Manfred.
he's really predictable when you play truth or dare. Like really predictable.
I pick dare every time.
And the last thing I'm gonna write down at the bottom, I'm gonna be like, "Truth is what you make it?" Question mark.
Nice. But now, I mean, in my head now, the war cry is going to be, "You can't handle the truth." It's just you charge into anything. You can't handle the truth. I need to make a note here. So you guys decide what your next steps are, because I need to make a
We're
note.
going toward the red glow.
We proceed.
I've kind of been drawing a map. If you guys want to look at it,
Oh yeah,
a
let's
very
see it.
rudimentary map.
Sure.
Oh, cool.
From all the notes that you
I
saw
used
earlier.
to
Take a
at
picture
the
of.
table. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's not too bad. It fits. So
Yep.
yeah, you guys went in, and yeah, I see some lava there now.
Where we
But,
went in,
the
turn-
only thing that I would expand on it is where you have the cul-de-sac there, where it was turned into the maze. It
Yeah.
would just be larger, but
Okay.
the concept is good.
well,
You get
I
the
kept
gradual curves, the sharp corner or sharp turn. And then that was a maze that they kind of walked around in for a couple minutes. So it's of a substantial size for that.
I kept trying to draw like maze lines, but it kept just looking like a ball sack, so I stopped.
Valid.
Probably looked really appropriate with that penis going through it too.
Is that a walnut?
You can't handle the truth.
You can't. Yeah, that's right.
All right, but we've got the illusion now apparently dispelled, and that could be up to Pat to determine or to confirm that if you wanted. But the illusion is no longer playing tricks on you guys. You can now see what looks like the actual tunnel, and heading towards the light. Zeb was technically accurate in that when you get close enough, the sound of the volcano is louder, and you can actually hear the bubbling of the lava magma. I can't remember when it turns from one to the next, but it's like a snake. A snake has venom in it, but when it bites you, you're poisoned. So go figure. It magically changes when it leaves one place to another. And I don't know the difference between lava and magma. Anyway, you hear that bubbling before you turn the corner and see it, just kind of the big pool of lava. And this whole area is huge now. This opens up to the inside of the volcano. Super warm. It's the fantasy world, so of course you can walk next to lava and you're not going to die. Just don't jump in it, right? It's super warm. The hot convection is just almost rushing past you now. By the time you turn the corner to where this is, the air that's being forced out through where you came in is just you've got the fan blowing in through your hair at the photo shoot kind of thing. It's that strong, the air rushing past you. And the inside of the volcano, so the volcano on the outside is miles wide. Inside, hundreds of feet of just big pool that you're looking over. And all around it, you can just kind of barely make out the shape of the mountain, the volcano rising. There's a lot of dark spots, so you can't quite see what might be other hallways or what have you, but it's just this really big open room with bubbly nasty in it.
Hey, Manfred, you see all that? That's
Yes, Pop, because this is where we use the buckets.
Such hot magma. You know it's not lava until it reaches the surface.
That's
Aha.
right. Magma is underneath the ground. That's right.
Yes.
I
Right.
actually guessed it, but I didn't know which was which.
Yes.
I write down in my book magma.
It's a good thing that came from the wizard too. So super smart guy. Yeah, super smart android.
Super smart Google.
The Grand Wizard, go Ogle.
Go Ogle told me.
Bing. So what are you guys doing now? What do you
Well,
do?
So we're gonna be. Is there anyone standing around the big open area that we can see, or is there an army down here waiting for us? What's going on?
You do, from where you're standing, you do not see any other living, or may also be clear, no other living or undead things like creatures. Everything looks like the natural insides of a volcano, except for the hallway you just came out of. But like I said, you can't see every nook and cranny. It will definitely involve more exploration, but
Which
anything
do we have
you
choices
guys
of
want
like?
to ask about, I'll answer, of course.
I mean, is there like a way to go left, right, straight? You know, what are the options?
Yeah, so as far as the pool goes, there's kind of a rim all the way around that you could walk, like fully
Okay.
encircling it from everything you can see so far. Yeah.
I
Okay.
walk straight. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Let's
I'd
have
catch
Pat
him.
Jr. get rolled up.
Yes, Snape. Which way towards the necromancer?
Hi, I'm Larry Potter.
There. So pool noodle. I'm going to keep calling it pool noodle because that's what stuck with me. I know it became something else. It was Snape or Noodle or whatever.
Just
Snickerdoodle.
Just
Which way
Snickerdoodle.
towards the necromancer?
Snaperdoodle.
I could go with Snickerdoodle. I could remember that one. But anyway,
Those-
pool noodle. It does the almost like a puffer fish. It has arrows pointing in every direction. Like it just like poof. Like it doesn't really know where to go, or maybe you could go in any direction.
That is not helpful. Pool noodle, snickerdoodle, whatever.
It does a sad emoji.
Hmm.
Don't worry, we still like you. All right, let's go left. It hasn't failed us yet. Left.
Yes.
Going
that sounds
right
good.
failed us. Going left has worked for our favor.
Yeah,
I
right
agree.
wasn't the best.
We'll go left rim here.
Okay.
Duke, are you still going to be in front of me?
It's pretty lit up in here.
You
It
need to
is-
speak up, Duke. We can't hear.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm fine being in front. I
All
can
right.
still roll my traps.
That's
It
right.
is what I would classify as dim light in here, whereas Duke is carrying a bright light. So it'll be augmented with the light that Duke is carrying. No, not Duke. Jay's still
Yeah.
carrying the
Yes.
light.
I would like to tie a short section of rope around Duke's waist, Zeb, with a slip knot in the back. All right, pull on the pull pull on that if you need to get away from me fast.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, okay. Onward.
But to
Oh, God.
Chris's point, you can see everywhere here. It's just not bright. A lot of shadows, because of the structure of the mountain. Of course, there's ridges, and behind this one's a shadow, and you have no idea if that's a hallway or whatever. But the light from the actual light spell is brighter, augments that spot. And although I'm not sure what color we're ending up with, the orange glow from the magma plus the neon pink from the light probably looks a little different. Magenta, maybe? We might be dealing with magenta. But as you start to the left, I'm going to call it a ledge that you're walking on is a little bit wider than the hallway. However, because the wall that would be to your left as you're circling, it's not completely smooth. It's got all the crevices in it. And because the ledge it's more natural than man-made, it isn't even either. So it probably still feels like you have to watch your step. Anybody who's afraid of heights, or for that matter, falling into magma, is probably going to want to be careful.
Yes.
So you go about 20 feet, and Randy's trying to show us his phone screen, but
Oh
it's too
yeah,
bright.
it never works.
You go about 20 feet, Duke up front, and Duke, you see right off to your left, around one of the outcroppings where it was just shadow. As soon as you get around that, you can see that it's a hallway, and in that hallway, you see two of the Zomblins, but they look a little different. It's like there are cracks in their skin, and it's glowing like lava.
Lava zombie. Zoblin.
Magic
A
missile.
Lomblin.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pod, is this where we use the buckets?
Yeah, I'm gonna back up a little bit. And I guess I can try to would it be discern realities to figure out what is going on with these guys, or is this like a
I mean, if
magic?
you're going to take a minute to study the situation and determine what might be going on, that is a discern realities. If you just want to look at them and get more of a description, I can just try and give you more of a description. So it's really what you're trying to get out of it, always, whether it determines if there's a roll or not. Essentially, if the information you're about to get or the outcome you want has a big impact on the story, then it will involve a roll.
Honestly, I'm just gonna assume that they're bad, and I'm gonna go for an attack.
Oh, all right. I'm just going to go beat them up. Are you going to tell anybody else about them first?
I'm gonna tug on the rope.
And if
What-
I
what is
remember
it,
right,
dude?
tugging
What's
on the
wrong?
rope means he wants to move out.
Okay, when he pulls on it, it just releases him.
Hmm. You did say Slipknot.
Yep. Well, my
So just-
character,
what?
his
Dude,
ears,
where?
he still can't hear very well, so he had no idea what the rope's intentions were.
There you go.
So he
Seems
pulled
like
on
a
it.
flawed system.
Yeah, but I feel like it's gonna at least say like, "Oh, something's happening," like up there.
Okay.
But
So Duke turns the corner. There are two lava gobble zombs.
Lomblins.
Lomblins, yeah.
Lava zombies.
I'm gonna attack with my short sword.
And they're not facing you, by the way. I guess
Oh,
I
they're not?
don't remember if I said that or
I
not.
don't. Well, if you did, I didn't catch it.
Okay.
And I'm going in for the backstab if they're not facing me, sneaking up.
Oh, they're not. They're unaware of you.
All right, I'm sneaking up. I'm gonna do a backstab.
Oh, this is going to be the first backstab. You're going to have to read that.
Nice.
All right, backstab. When you attack a surprised or defenseless enemy with a melee weapon, you can choose to deal your damage or roll plus dex. On a 10 plus, choose 2. On 7 to 9, choose 1. You don't get in melee with them. You deal your damage. You create an advantage or reduce their armor.
Cool. All right.
All right, here we go. I'm rolling. So that's yep.
It's
plus
going to be dexterity. So
a 9. So I get
9. All right. So you get to choose one of those options. Which one do you want to pick?
when it says you don't get into melee with them, does that mean I still do any damage to them, or I just get I just don't get into like a they don't know I'm there?
So yeah, here's the thing. As picking it on its own, when you only have one to pick from, that
Doesn't
one makes less sense.
All right.
If you think about when you have more than one, so right, if you had a 10 plus and you chose 2, you could do your damage with them and not get into a fight with them, right? So you could do more, but sometimes you're like, I'm going to stab them or I'm going to do something to them. And then you realize, oh, maybe that's not a good idea. And you decide to just go back into the shadow. And that's how I would interpret you don't get into melee with them. You just,
Well, I absolutely want to deal damage to them. I want to get in this fight.
So at this point, to me at least, there's a couple options that you would pick from. You either just deal your damage plus a D8. So you're going to do extra damage, or the idea of creating an advantage +1 forward to you or an ally acting on it. So the next time you or any of your allies act on it, they'll get a +1 to their roll. So there's 2 ways to look at that. The first one, as far as the damage goes, knowing how the Zomblins fell, it's probably going to be enough to kill it unless you roll horribly. But you also haven't fought a lava zombie yet.
True. but
So you're not sure what to expect.
I'm still going to do the damage. I'm going to use the short sword instead of the dagger. It gives me a little bit of distance.
Okay.
Right.
So then you're going to do your regular damage plus a d6.
So that's going to be a d4 plus a d6.
I think your regular damage is a d8 for the
Plus
thief.
D6 plus a D6.
Where do I see that?
It's D8 for thief. Yep.
Okay. So I will roll.
It's along where it says where your stats are. The next line is damage, armor, hit points. So damage, and then it shows like
I see it there.
d8. Yeah.
Okay, a d8 plus a
Plus a
1d6.
d6.
A 6.
Okay. And now you're using the short sword. Was that any plus for damage? I can't remember. I know the long sword was a plus.
It says nothing.
Okay. If it doesn't say it, then it's not. Okay.
It just says close 1 weight.
Yep. Cool. All right. So what happens, and this, by the way, is where I am going to use one of the failures that had happened previously, and that's represented by this little post-it note for me.
Ooh, which one of all of ours?
Move that aside. When you do this, you stick your sword into it, and it immediately just drops to the ground. You definitely, actually, where did you want to hit it? Because that's another thing I'd prefer to know.
Right here.
Like at the neck.
In between the neck and the shoulder, but like pierced down.
Okay. So you do that. And as soon as it falls and your sword comes out of it, your sword is dripping with lava and disintegrating.
What? I start swinging it, trying to get it off.
And this would be the time, at least for me, where if Jay's wanted to react to the whole rope thing, he'd be turning the corner and seeing this.
You have a bucket of water.
No, Jay's has my buckets of water. I convinced him to carry them.
Yeah. I've got the bucket of water hanging off of my shield. I have the light rock in my mouth, and I have the long stick with the flail.
Yeah.
So
and now a 5-foot crystal on your back somewhere.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. I want to throw a 5-foot crystal at something.
Yeah.
So it would turn the corner. And
so you turn the corner, and because of the timing, the first thing you're going to see is Duke shaking his lava-covered sword. It's almost like he's shaking a flaming sword, but it's falling apart too. Pieces of the sword are falling, and the lava's dripping off of it.
So the people behind me would see me turn the corner. Oh, stop! Put the flail in the other hand. Draw the crystal javelin.
He disappear again.
He actually didn't disappear, but if Eli does a really horrible roll, Duke could get stuck in a crystal again, or a crystal could get stuck in Duke.
Oh, how the tables turn!
I'm like,
oh, how the turntables.
Hey, Michael Scott.
So, I mean, I would like to volley.
That's what she said.
This would be roll plus dex. My dex is 0 plus 0.
All right, so let me repaint the picture just so we know what we're looking at. As you turn the corner, there's one zombie goblin who's bleeding lava on the ground, and the other one standing there just starting to turn. And again, Duke standing there with the short sword, having pulled it out of the lava zombie gobble. And he's shaking that. So yeah, you turn the corner and you're going to throw the crystal at the one who's still standing.
Yes, the one that's still standing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 2d6.
It is a volley, so it would be plus dex.
My dex is plus 0.
Nice, easy one to add. I'll add that again.
Oof.
Maybe I should stop adding it. Every time I add it, you fail.
Yeah, I would kindly ask that you stop affecting my rolls.
Could you subtract it next time?
So I guess we can see what it's like to have a crystal in a Duke. No, I'm kidding. Your failure isn't just going to pierce the other player.
Are you sure? Remember, I'm a human fighter. I can make it just like not if it's too bad.
No, I think you're just throwing it and it goes wide, just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
And it just flies down the hall, and you hear it shatter as it goes down the hall.
Ew, more pieces.
Woo! Throwing crystals.
Yeah. Who else wants to act/react to what has happened here?
Guys, there are Lomblins in here.
Oh, okay. Lomblet? Whatever. Magic missile.
Lava zombie
Are
goblins.
you going to go look first, or are you just going
Yeah,
to
I'm
cast?
gonna just walk.
Magic missile,
I'll
whatever.
just aim it at
He's like,
Jay.
He's already proved it can't hurt his friends. You can just
Promise
cast it
is my
randomly.
brother.
Just like gathers up the energy. Go and kill the Lomblin, whatever the fuck that is.
I'm expecting some sort of weird llama goblin like hybrid to walk around the
Llama,
corner.
a llama and a goblin. I
That
like
would be
it.
pretty
Around,
wild.
like,
I mean,
whatever.
If goblins and wolves make barcasts, what would a goblin and a llama make?
That's clearly a mobley, but whatever.
Mamba.
I want to see goblins riding llamas.
I was going to say that's going to be for the goblin tribe that was wiped out. Their pack animals were llamas.
So I'll turn the corner, look at it, aim my staff, magic missile. Just all sad, like
Don't
I just
sound
get
too
this over
excited.
with.
So you see,
never
the
gonna
same
be as
picture I was
impressive as destroying that
describing,
crystal.
but as Pat turns that corner, the lava goblin is headed towards Jay's now. It's like walking right past Duke.
Oh shoot! Fire!
Fire! Fire!
That's gonna be a 5.
It's going to be a night of failures tonight. Nice, Randy.
Hey, that makes
rough.
8.
The volley marks an experience, right?
Yes. You should mark an experience for that horrible throw.
So what
You're not
happens
winning
with my?
anything over time with that.
Does my staff
We
go?
have all right. So now we have the at this point the magic missile is going to be forgotten. Okay, so
Oh.
that big number one part for that failure. The magic missile is forgotten, but not before it shoots out and goes down the hallway as far as you can see, and then like turns a corner.
It just keeps on trucking.
Okay,
give it
see you
about
later, magic.
Or so, and you're going to hit in the back of your head with your
See you
remote.
later, Roger.
Yeah. It's gonna save you at the last, like some other time later on.
Yeah.
Thank you for freeing me.
You'll be like, I'm glad I fired that off 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. You have one errant magic missile flying around right now.
It's a flubber
fire
of
in the
this
hole.
universe.
Manfred, magic missile missed.
Who needs healing out of the group? I mean, I'm injured just a little bit, but who needs some healing? I feel like the other guys are down pretty good.
I think Pat has taken the most damage as far as I
Down
know, but I don't
5
know
at
how
the
bad
moment.
anyone is.
5.
I'm not dying, but I'm down 5.
Well, here's one way to think about it. Kind of like how you guys have dice to roll for damage. I have dice that I pick to roll for the bad guys. I will tell you straight up, no one hit is going to do more than 12 points. The largest die I'll use is a D12. So
All right, then.
think of it from that way. No matter how bad it gets, unless there's like, instant death because of a failure, when it comes to hit points, the most you'll take at any given time would be 12.
So no matter what, I'll still take 2 hits right now to get to get killed.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea of the ruggedness of your character versus the world. It's unlikely you will die from one hit. You can die from a failure, but it won't be from damage. It will be because you failed and that caused your death.
All right. I won't worry about
Manfred.
it. I will say I'll use Eye on the Law and tell Lava Boy to go jump into the pile, to the magma.
We have not used that on these yet, have we?
No. Jump in the fire.
Jump
Cue
into
the
fire.
Cue the Metallica song.
That's how they bathe.
Do-do-do-do.
He's like, give me fuel, give me fire.
Give me that which I desire.
All right. So so you're rolling plus
Go take a
charisma.
swim.
Is that the second time you went to 11? I think it is.
I think so.
All right. So you just tell them go
Go
in the
take a
lava.
swim. Go take
Yeah.
a swim.
Okay.
Give
It
the one.
does. It does.
It doesn't destroy it, or did I notice like, wow, that's not bothering him, or it does.
It destroys it.
All right.
Because, and this is something that Pat might know. The magic is holding the lava in the zombie kind of thing. It's a magical creature at that point, not just undead, but like really extra magical. And once it goes into the magma, as most of the creature is burned away, the magic just kind of falls apart. The lava just goes back in. I guess you can go back to the Lord of the Rings thing, like I usually do. When Gollum falls into it, eventually he just becomes part of it. Same as the ring. That's what it looks like. But it is clearly, again, think of Gollum. It seems like it's alive / undead, whatever, right up until it just isn't there anymore. So you can see it kind of walking, and then it just kind of melds back in. The other one that was on the floor that got stabbed, the lava now proceeds to just kind of disintegrate the rest of the skin, the rest of the organic material, and then just kind of starts hardening into lava rock on the floor, kind of leaving a lump, like the lava pooped on the floor.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I'm having a weird memory now. Did you use that on me to make me leave a room so that Duke could go ahead and steal from that from the magic place? Because I told you I wouldn't let him take everything.
What are you talking about?
Is that your secret? Because I would not just leave the room. Did you use that on me to make me leave? I'm trying to find some way to put this into the game so I can finally use it.
I would probably buy it if it didn't sound like Manfred was misleading you into something, because I don't see Manfred tricking you into anything. The whole truth thing,
That is the truth.
But that doesn't mean he didn't do it unknowingly. That's a whole nother thing.
You could have just asked. I would have let him take them. I don't really actually care.
He stole my last bear claw.
Pecan pie.
Yeah. That, by the way, within my notes too, because we learned that the pie was from Nottingham's. That was the name of the place where the pecan pie came from, or pecan.
Yes.
Pecan
That
pie.
totally real place that totally matters.
Yep.
Indeed.
Just like the college my character went to.
Once everybody, gathers themselves again, what you're going to be finding is not the end of the episode, but the end of the session, because we're going to go through end of session.
Yay!
And that spot now, you have kind of a spot where you can have a little rest. So we're also going to do the whole make camp thing, only because I want to go through the move and tell you what that looks like. And technically we're going to do it after the end of session, but since I said it, I'll just read it now. So when you settle into rest, you consume a ration. So everybody who has food, make sure you mark off a ration. If you're somewhere dangerous, you're going to decide a watch order, and that's where we'll pick up next time on the watch, because that will most likely trigger something to happen. And then if you have enough experience, you're going to be able to level up. Okay. And then we'll do it as you wake from some uninterrupted rest, and you'll heal damage equal to half of your hit points. So I think that'll make it so everybody's just like healed back up again.
Yeah.
But technically we're going to be doing that after the end of session, because we're going to count up experience now. Anybody have a bond that they feel they were able to resolve in this session?
I tried to weasel in a bond with Chris at the last second.
What was that one? Because I'm curious, because if it sounds like something that may never happen and we just abandon it, that counts. It will have been resolved.
So the bonds that my character starts off with that I could either choose or make up my own was Blake is keeping an important secret from me. I had chose to give that to Manfred, and I had no idea what that could possibly be, because it's just so open-ended. And plus my character would not know what that technically is without Manfred sharing that. So to finally try to use that, when he used that command spell or whatever it was, which one was it again?
I am the law.
I am the law. I was kind of wondering if maybe you used it on my character at one point in time and without my character realizing it. And I don't know, but I really don't know how to use this, because it's just a secret.
Probably would have been, he would have been forcing you to help a nun cross the street or something, but
probably.
Yeah. I'm almost thinking it's really a question.
It would be, if I used it on you, it wouldn't be a secret. You would know I did it. Like I did it to Jay's,
And this is what I was thinking. Is there anything, Chris, that you could think of that Manfred would actually keep from Pat?
No, because that would be lying.
Yeah. So with that one, Randy, cross it off and mark an experience because it is resolved. We're going to say that it's not applicable.
I feel like there's something. There's not. Okay, that's
Yeah.
I believe you.
It's
Nope.
you realize after all of your probing that no, Manfred isn't going to lie to me. I guess he's not keeping a secret. Let's move on. Let's think of something else
Like
that he
every-
could be, accused
I
of.
feel my bond with him deepen now that I've come to that understanding.
Yeah, something like that.
I feel the Duke one will come into play eventually if we ever make it to a town where he can actually try doing more than just theft to get his way. But
What about for Duke or Manfred or Jays? Any bond you have there that you think can be marked as resolved?
I'm willing to abandon my seeking of knowledge of the truth.
You can't
After
have
one session?
Yeah, I came to the conclusion that the truth is whatever this guy says the truth is.
That's, I mean,
truth is how
I
you
won't
perceive
say
it.
it right, but it doesn't feel like it's wrong.
But so that bond is with Manfred. And Chris, what do you think about that? How would Manfred feel about that, if anything?
He can't handle the truth. You can't
There you
handle
go.
the truth.
Yeah. I just I keep looking at the notes and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
All right. So yeah, I would say that one's an easy one for me, at least, to say, yeah, it makes sense. You made some effort to actually commune with the truth.
Yep.
And it just nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I'll never be able to use these Jedi mind tricks. That you can.
Jays or Manfred, anything that
I
you
don't
got?
have anything. Yeah.
I feel like I'm still working on
Okay.
Manfred is hard. I will make him soft like me. I don't feel like it's impossible. I think it's just gonna take a while for that one to resolve.
Okay.
And I've not thought one up yet to replace the other one that I had. And I could go with this generic one. I have sworn to protect so and so, but that would have to come up in a later session because I didn't protect anyone this session.
And I can't remember if I said it last time or even the time before, but if you look through all of the character sheets, if you're having trouble thinking of your own, just look at the other bonds, the other pre-made bonds on the other characters, because there may be something there that makes sense too. Could spawn an idea, or you can just take one of those, write it in for yourself, and you're all set. And Chris, you said nothing for Manfred?
No.
Okay. How about
Actually-
alignment? Guys, anybody feel like the alignment as described on your sheet, or if you happen to write it up different, do you feel like you fulfilled your alignment?
I think I fulfilled mine because my neutral one is always discover something about a magical mystery. And I feel like the whole crystal resolution with the illusion magic and resolving that whole entire thing was kind of a bit of a magical mystery that got resolved.
And I can tell you from my perspective, discovering the illusion definitely fits, because for me, at least, the idea was to just get you guys confused. But once you did the whole discern realities, you saw through it, even though nobody else really did. They all experienced it. So yeah, that one works for me. Market experience for alignment for Pat. Anybody else?
Hot. I always deny mercy to unbelievers. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
I
you
don't know.
can write another one that just something you can actually play into.
Because that's what it is. It's deny mercy or to a criminal or unbeliever.
Yeah.
But
So
not sure how that's
yeah, and like I
straightforward.
said, until we actually have a time where that really makes sense, because the way you're playing the character, anybody who doesn't deal with the truth right is,
Right.
one of those. They're an unbeliever. So it seems like anytime you killed somebody, it would be, hey, I did it. So
Yeah.
we either do that, or you just we come up with a different way to word how you want the alignment to be played based on the way you want to play the character.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, the undead are not believers or unbelievers. They're just undead
Yeah,
zombie
neutral, yeah.
goblin things, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
Now let's go to our 3 questions. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
I was gonna say my alignment.
Oh, go ahead, dude.
Infiltrate a location is part of my.
Yeah.
alignment. I feel like we did that. So we infiltrated the heart of the volcano.
Yeah,
I was thinking of it from the. At first, I was thinking more of the perspective of, you you were infiltrated into the maze, right? But yeah, once you got through that, yes, I'll go along with that. Yeah.
So we do get
So
two.
everybody mark an experience for that. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yeah, lava monster. That's
We-
new.
we-
And scarabs are new.
We overcame a new one.
It is notable because it's living lava, but still
Yes.
a goblin zombie.
All right, let's all mark an experience for that.
Yeah, I feel like we learned the truth of this necromancer. He's not just doing undead; he's doing like magically infused undead with like the area. So it's kind of strange. You
Yeah,
can make
I
a-
like that you said that because my note is lava-infused zombie goblin. So it
Yeah.
is infused.
Does it have a nice nougaty, chewy center?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to be chewing on that.
Yeah.
we gotta
This is
wonder like
spicy.
It's more
He's
gooey
gonna-
than
he can
chewy.
probably do with anything. It just happens to be lava. What's it going to be next
Yeah.
time? You know.
Yeah, I have no idea where lava is on the Scoville scale. So I mean, it's probably high up there though.
Yeah.
Bet more than a ghost pepper, I'm
Super
sure.
spicy.
Yeah. Did we loot a memorable treasure?
Crystal javelin.
Because he was
100%.
so quick
Yeah.
to say it, the answer is yes.
I looted a duke from a crystal.
Yeah,
Does that mean
That-
everybody gets a
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like I wanted a crystal javelin. I used the crystal javelin. I will never have that crystal javelin again. It is a unique treasure in my heart, and I will always
Yeah.
remember it.
Jay's
Pretty
used
cool.
his face to loot some beetles from a ceiling.
So I believe at that point, everybody's got another, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably. Not counting the failures. I think everybody got 4 out of the end. You either got the alignment or a bond, but everybody got the 3 questions.
And what is
With
the-
that, I'm expecting everybody should have at least 8 hit points, not counting Manfred. The others.
Yeah, I don't have as many.
I have 8 XP.
All right,
On
because
the dot.
8 is what's going to get you to that level up. So
Okay.
think about that before the next session, because we'll talk about what you picked for your advanced move, especially if it's something that you have any questions about, like we did with the Hospitaller at the beginning. But also because it might be something that actually enhances or changes the way you play your character. You might find something that's like, oh, now I want to do this. So we'll talk about the advanced move and make sure that we're all ready with that level up when we kick off the next one. But at least for now, we're going to run into the actual end of the episode. And we can all say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Boy.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.
You know, you should have duked that spell. I don't know. I got nothing, guys. Come on. Duck Duke. I don't know.